Hello, all. It's been a while since I've come to speak to you, and I wanted to let you know about this concept that I've really been considering, contemplating over this last month. And that is the concept of parampara, which is a Sanskrit term meaning one after another. And typically it's used in reference to initiation into, say, a yogic lineage or spiritual traditional lineage. And I've been reading this work by Gitte Bexgard in her book, The Gift of Consciousness, who refers to this term, parampara, as emphasizing the need for each one of us to reflect upon and align ourselves with all those who have walked the path before us. So I've been considering this term in light of all kinds of happenings on the planet right now. For example, what is our relationship to the lineage of water that has recently been confirmed on the surface of the moon? The age of that water, the length of time that it has been there quietly. What is our relationship to the history of that in that place, to even touch something that old? What is our relationship to the bodies of these incredible beings, Siberian mammoths, that are being unearthed in this moment as the permafrost is defrosting and people are digging into that land? What is our relationship to the lineage of ancestral traditions of medicine work in indigenous traditions? What is our relationship to that knowledge and that history? What is our relationship to our own ancestral traditions, our blessings, our burdens, the wars our people have fought? I've been thinking a lot about this and how to be in reciprocal relationship with these lineages. In terms of water, it's such an incredible story. I've been following it closely, and one of the things that really stands out to me is how, or immediately, the conversation of some of our world's top brains are talking about how to extract this water, how to turn it into fuel, how to use it for human purposes, and that's the immediate focus, is how do we take it out and use it? Not what exists there, what has been there, what mysteries does it hold. The same goes for these incredible creatures that are coming to the surface, the ancestors of today's elephants, that are being harvested, dug out of hillsides, eroded out of stream banks to provide an alternative to ivory in the human markets. What is our relationship to these old beings that are just now coming to light in our changing planet? Who is coming to the surface now? What is our relationship to the psychedelic medicines that we are working with and practicing with in this modern sense, and the history of tradition that exists before us? What are we doing to be in reciprocity and to ensure that biocultural conservation is in place, and that indigenous folks who are the traditional holders of this knowledge are able to keep it in perpetuity for themselves, to teach within their own communities and not be forced to share or expected to be in on the crappy end of an extractive process? And what is our relationship with our own ancestral traditions? As some of you know, part of my family comes from Armenia, and there's been a renewed wave of violence taking place in that part of the world right now. And I think about how the context of these battles, these wars, this fighting is not something that can really even be understood on a short time scale. We're talking about thousands of years of upheaval. How do we dig into the root of some of that trauma and strife? And how do we reach to those who have come before us to enter into this mysterious, strange world that we are finding ourselves in this moment? How do we be in reciprocal relationship with those ones who have come before? So that's what I'm thinking about as we're going into Halloween, Samhain, All Souls Day, Day of the Dead, and considering how I can be in relationship and how I can be considering parampara and this lineage, all these lineages that I come from.